Hello everyone, my name is Yunus and this is the Unique UD100. So right off the bat, this thing doesn't really have much to offer in the technical segment. It just has a 97cc engine. But I know it's not that much, but it can be actually quite brisky. It has a 4-speed transmission, which is it's not really enough for a commuter bike. The engine is actually a generic dirt bike engine, which means that this thing can take quite a lot of beating. Like I've submerged the entire engine underwater a lot during the rains that we had during all the flooding, and other than that I've ridden it quite roughly over quite harsh terrain and it worked easily. Like it has enough torque in the first gear that it could climb anything and most likely anywhere really. Other than that, the gearing ratio is quite good on this thing. The first gear is amazingly torquey, which means that I think I can pop a wheelie. Due to the 4-speed transmission, this thing vibrates quite a lot, and as I said, for a commuter bike it's just not enough because the vibrations are so horrific I can't even say anything about it. But that's how our country rolls, so we have to move along with it. There are only a few options that we have and we have to make use of whatever we have got. So the chassis of this thing is actually based upon the Honda CT70. That was a chassis made in all the way back 1970s. So this thing is basically that old really. The chassis on this thing is so old that I seriously sometimes feel like I'm going to die even though it's working perfectly. It has some extended bits than the CT70, like for example the rear end. In CT70 it ends around here, but in this thing it's ending around here. So there is, as I said, there isn't much to offer. This is an old bike. It came with just the speedometer, to which I actually had to upgrade. I put in the gear indicator and then I put in the RPM indicator. The headlight, it had a cowling, I think that's what it's called, but it broke off due to poor quality and I had to fit one of these rectangle things. It has a set of drum brakes which don't really work that much. I mean, this thing weighs only around 100 kg, which is obviously not that much, but for these tiny little drum brakes, this thing is just too heavy. It wouldn't stop at the right time and I really don't like it. But at the same time, it works. I can't say that much. That's it. I seriously don't know what else to be saying about this thing. It is so old, it doesn't look so good. It's an absolute old technology. The only good thing that I like about this bike is that engine. I know it's just a 97cc engine with 4-speed transmission, but it's just better built. Like for example the chassis and the engine, these are the two Chinese things. Other than that, almost everything is made in Pakistan, so a lot of the quality is horrible. As you can see, the paint quality is quite horrible, the headlight is quite horrible, the fuel tank is, well, it's okay. It is catching rust, by the way, and the handlebar is catching rust, the chain cover is catching rust, and well, the suspension nuts, they're catching rust. It has a dipper or a pass button or whatever it's called. It doesn't work, it's rusted, it doesn't work. And the horn button doesn't work, also rusted. The pins on the horn are actually rusted, and the headlight, the high works, actually the low works, the high doesn't work, rusted. Indicators do work fantastically. and the light switch works, the self starter works. As I said, it's quite awful, but you know, that's how it is in Pakistan and nothing much we can do about it. So you might be wondering, Idris, you've said everything bad about it. Is there anything that is good about it? Well, it does 50 kilometers to a liter. That's a good thing, and that's, to be honest, the only reason why this thing is being sold over here. So this thing has actually a better shape than most of the bikes in Pakistan. Most of them are just things. This thing has got, like, the rear end of this thing is a lot better looking. The seat is horribly uncomfortable, and as I said, the front is actually quite good, but it broke off, so I had to put this thing on. Other than that, anything good about it? It can do almost up to 110 kilometers an hour, but as I've said before, it vibrates like heck. So doing 110 is like as smart as bag of peanut butter jelly, really. It's horrible. The ride is horribly uncomfortable, not just due to the seat, but the shocks, which don't really do that much. I mean, if there's a lot of weight on it, like I weigh almost around 50 kg, so I'm not that heavy. But if I have someone else and the load on this thing is around 100 plus kg, the ride is superiorly amazing as compared to when I'm riding it all alone. It has alloy rims, as you have seen before, which is not that bad. I mean, the color contrast is amazing. The chrome wheels and then the red paint looks quite fantastic. Apart from that, I just have nothing to say really. It's horrible. The horn never really worked. I bought it and the levers were starting to come out. The wiring is actually quite horrible on this thing, because if I'm not wrong, the wiring is actually Pakistani, so the wiring is just not that good. I had to replace the battery. Like, this is the third battery and I've only owned it for like a year. So 3 batteries in a year, that's horrible. The wiring has been changed like twice, I think. This is the third time it's having it. So due to that wiring issue, the self starter has rarely been used, but every time now that it has actually been fixed, it works perfect. Again, it's a Chinese thing, so it works perfect. There's nothing good about it, but I still love it. So if you like this video, please do leave a like and subscribe for more content that will be coming up, inshallah. And I will see you in the next video, hopefully. Bye bye. That no matter how much I criticize this thing, no matter how much I hate this thing, I have got quite a lot of amazing memories with it. So for that reason, I really like this thing.